Good morning. Words of warning. Former Vice President Dick Cheney says the country is more vulnerable to terror attacks under President Obama. This morning, what he thinks the president has done to endanger the nation. Crime scene. Italian prosecutors say bloody footprints link American college student Amanda Knox to the murder of her roommate. But can the evidence be trusted? And resilience. Elizabeth Edwards, wife of former presidential candidate John Edwards, speaks out about her battle with cancer, the death of her son, and her husband's affair. She's here to talk about it all live for the first time today, Monday, May 11th, 2009.
From NBC News, this is Today with Matt Lauer and Meredith Vieira. Live from Studio 1A in Rockefeller Plaza.
And good morning. Welcome to Today on a Monday morning. I'm Matt Lauer.
And I'm Meredith Vieira. And ordinarily, the old White House administration keeps their opinions on the new administration to themselves, at least for a while. But the former vice president is not holding his tongue.
No, he's not at all. In fact, Dick Cheney says specific policy shifts during President Obama's first 100 days leave this country open to future terror attacks. He also says those controversial interrogation techniques that were used under the Bush administration, like waterboarding, saved thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of American lives. We're going to have more on all of this coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Also ahead, salt. Doctors say you should consume less than 2,300 milligrams a day, which seems simple enough. But guess how many milligrams of salt are in one food chain's popular buffalo chicken fajitas? 6,846 milligrams.
That's 3 days, right?
3 days worth of salt. Coming up, how to make some healthy choices when it comes to how much sodium you have in your diet.
Plus, as we mentioned, Elizabeth Edwards is here for her first live television interview to talk about her very revealing and honest new book, which is called Resilience. How is she feeling as she wages her fight with cancer? What's her relationship like with her husband today? We're going to talk to Elizabeth Edwards in just a little while.
But first, let's head over to the news desk and Ann Curry for a look at the morning's top stories. Hey, good morning, Ann.
Meredith and Matt, good morning. And we begin with some news that's just breaking in the case of a U.S. journalist in Iran. This morning, Roxana Sabari's 8-year prison term was reduced to a 2-year suspended jail term, according to her lawyer. She was accused of spying, a charge she denied. Today, warplanes in Pakistan bombed suspected Taliban positions near the capital. The Pakistani government claims its recent offensive has killed some 700 insurgents and put the Taliban on the run. Pope Benedict is in Israel honoring the victims of the Holocaust and calling for a Palestinian homeland. NBC's Martin Fletcher is in Tel Aviv for us this morning with more on this. Hey, Martin, good morning.
7:30 now on this Monday morning, the 11th day of May 2009. Bright and sunny morning to match the spirit of our crowd who are kicking off their week with us in Rockefeller Plaza. Inside Studio 1A, I'm Meredith Vieira alongside Matt Lauer. And coming up, Matt, you've got a big interview lined up.
That's right. Elizabeth Edwards, the wife of Democratic presidential candidate John Edwards, has written a new book. It's called Resilience, in which she opens up about everything from her fight against cancer to her husband's affair. And this morning, Elizabeth is here for her first live television interview to talk about it all. We're going to be speaking with her in just a couple of minutes.
Also ahead, we're going to have more on that deadly shooting that rocked a Connecticut college campus. Apparently, the victim, a 21-year-old woman, had a previous run-in with her alleged shooter. We're going to get the latest on that. But first, a quick programming note. We recently spent time with Ryan O'Neal, Farrah Fawcett's longtime companion, as well as her best friend, Alana Stewart. And as you know, Farrah Fawcett is in the fight of her life battling cancer. We're going to have those interviews this Wednesday and Thursday here on Today. And then on Friday night, NBC will air a special 2-hour documentary, Farrah's Story. It is an extremely personal look at Fawcett's cancer fight, shot with her own video recorder, over 100 hours of tape. And this was when she started this project. She actually started it the day she found out her cancer had come back in 2007. Right. She was hoping for a better outcome than what we're seeing at this point. But Alana, who shot everything, would say to her, I want to turn the camera off now. This is too raw. And Farrah was very adamant that she wanted it documented, whatever the outcome.
I look forward to the interview with Alana and Ryan O'Neal coming up. But let's go outside right now, get a check of the weather from Al.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. We got some nice folks out here. Where are you ladies from? That's your latest weather. Matt?
All right, Al, thank you very much. And now to Elizabeth Edwards, the wife of former U.S. Senator and presidential candidate John Edwards. Elizabeth is telling her story in a new book called Resilience, Reflections on the Burdens and Gifts of Facing Life's Adversities. It is a stunningly candid look at how she's dealt with some painful challenges in her own life, including the tragic death of her 16-year-old son, Wade, her bout with cancer, and her husband's affair. And Elizabeth Edwards is here for her first live television interview. Mrs. Edwards, good to see you. And from now on, I'm calling you Elizabeth.
And I can call you Matt.
Exactly.
Good.
It's nice to see you.
It's great to see you, too.
I want to start by talking about your health, because I think in so many ways it is directly related to every other subject we're going to be talking about this morning. So how are you doing?
I'm actually doing all right. It's, you know, cancer's not a straight line. It's up and down, and so I've gotten worse occasionally and then better, but I'm on a pretty even plateau now, which is where we want to stay.
You revealed in March of 2007 that the cancer had metastasized. It had spread to your bones, and in the book you reveal that you've gotten more bad news over time from your doctors. What have they told you?
Well, you know, it's just sometimes it'll go to new places, so I now have it in my thigh bone as well, whatever bone that is. But my most recent report was that it stabilized again. So they just, you know, they changed your medicine a little bit, and you just hope you're able to keep going.
Are you in pain on a daily basis?
There's parts that are uncomfortable, but it's not, you know, the side effect you're trying to avoid is dying, you know, and so you're willing to put up with some of those aches and pains.
You write the following. You say, I knew that I'd have to get ready to die. There is still no prognosis on which I can rely. If I had a timeline, it would make every decision so much easier. I don't want to plan to die. All I know is that it will be at my door more quickly than I want.
Yep.
You've got 3 children. Kate is 27.
Yes.
Emma Claire's 11. I think Jack is about to be 9.
That's right.
How have you prepared them for what you seem to be preparing yourself for?
Well, I don't want them to live every day or the remainder of my life with the thought that I'm dying. So I'm trying to just make sure we give them memories. One of the things Emma Claire wanted for her birthday was a trip with me. And I'm thinking maybe I'd need to do a tour, because carrying all the luggage and, you know, handling an 11-year-old, it might be, you know, too much for just me for an extended period. But it's something I desperately want to do, because, you know, the way I prepare her is to give her enough memories of me that they live on.
I think a lot of people have said to me openly, and I guess if they had the chance they would ask you, why write this book now, and why go out and do interviews like this one that are meant to promote this book when you have so many other pressing matters like what you just talked about in your life? Why the need to do this now? Why the desire?
Well, I mean, it's the same reason I go and speak about health care or speak at breast cancer conferences. It's because I don't know if it's, you know, if I knew I was only living a year, I might make a different decision. But, you know, I could live 10 years, in which case, you know, I hope I have important things to say, important support to give other people who are going through things, as everybody does. I mean, whether it's the kind of experiences I've had, or people are losing their homes and losing their jobs, and just to express that everybody, the people you hear in the news, everybody goes through exactly the same things, and to say, you know, you can get through these things too. You're going to, you know, you're going to have a tomorrow, and if you're going to make that tomorrow count, you have to buck up today.
I'm sure there were times in your life where you didn't know if you were going to have it tomorrow, and one of the things you write extensively about in the book is your son Wade's death when he was just 16 years old. It's so cliche, but it is every parent's nightmare.
It is.
And there were times I was reading these sections of the book, I had to put it down, because I'm a father of 3, and one of the things you wrote just stopped me in my tracks. You said, I could not change his room at home in any way at all. His backpack sat on the floor near the chair for years, not days or weeks, but years. And my first thought was how heartbreaking, and my second thought, and I hope you understand this, was how unhealthy. Do you understand that sentiment?
I do, but people react in different ways, and I actually think the least healthy way would be to sort of eradicate everything. I know, because I know a lot of people who've been through this experience, people who will take every sign of their child out of their house. If you have a friend who's about to do that, do them the favor of taking the things for them and holding them till the day that they do want to, you know, put on a sweater that their
But days or weeks, years though.
But I didn't need the space, and it felt to me like I was moving them out of the family, if I took his room apart for no reason. I had no need for the room.
In a B movie, there would be someone who would come to you and say, shake you by the collar and say, Elizabeth, you must move on.
People did that.
Yeah, how did you get to the point where it was okay to move that backpack, which becomes almost a metaphor?
Right. Well, actually, I mean, it was forced on me. The hose on the washing machine split, and that we had a flood on that part of the floor, and so I moved his backpack in order to save it from mold and other things. So everything got moved out of the room. So circumstances forced me to do something that. So I was actually saving his stuff by moving everything out.
And you write that the loss of Wade changed you as a person, and you write something else in the book that is about a different subject, but I want to end this particular segment with it. Also about being changed, you say, I am a different person now. I was not wounded, not afraid, not uncertain before, and now I always will be. We're going to talk about what you were referring to in that passage when we continue talking to you, Elizabeth.
Thanks, man.
We're back right after these messages.